also getting good with the guys. Like, she cannot dominate, like, being like the seductress of the guys, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying we have to be seductress or whatever, yeah, but we need to hang with the boy.
Well, it's time for my first Big Brother 24 live feeds update of the season after the first 24 hours of the feeds, although it's been less so that we've actually seen the feeds, but they've been in the house for probably around 24 hours. We're going to talk about the anti-woman all-girls alliance that formed here in a second. I want to talk about Joseph first because he is the cast member that was added to the cast in place of Marvin because Marvin was on contract with America's Got Talent from NBC. If there's one thing Big Brother production is consistent with, it's consistent with always dropping the ball. And I haven't really been able to get too much of Joseph on the feeds from what I've seen, so I don't really have a good read on him, but I think he's going to be very smart. I think he's going to be a hell of a competitor. I think he's definitely built to go far in this game. One thing about him, though, I feel like he could be the male version of Taylor. And what do I mean by that? Well, last night, a lot of the women got together in a group of jealousy to talk about Taylor. Taylor is the bombshell of the season, like I said on the cast first impressions. And I said how she has the wit and charm and the looks to go far in this game, but I also said in the cast review that that same combination was going to grow her target. And in one day in that house, it grew that target with the women already because she can talk well with the guys. And it's not like she wasn't talking to the girls. That's completely untrue. But clearly, a lot of them are threatened by Taylor because of jealousy.
And you and me are more powerful than her alone. Like, we're fucking PSL.
I don't know, I thought this statement from Paloma was telling. They're talking about how they can get in good with the guys too compared to Taylor. But Paloma's statement basically means it takes two of them to be one Taylor. I thought that was the insecurities coming out very hardcore because let me remind everybody, this was 10 to 12 hours into the game. Paloma lacking substance at her young age. I also said that Paloma could have pretty privilege, and maybe that's why she's taking this so bad. She sees Taylor as her biggest competition to working with the guys. But, you know, there's certain angles that hit Paloma, and Paloma is half Greek, and that Greek might hit her a little too hard, because there's certain angles you look at her, she looks like Greek comedian Giannis Pappas. And I'm not saying old Yanni is ugly, but he isn't pretty either. But I still think Paloma can have some pretty privilege in this house with some of the men if she can get her jealousy under control. When Paloma and Alyssa were first talking, they were talking about how they want to work with some of the guys, but that Taylor might beat them to it. And then they go and form an all-girl alliance with most of the women, sans Taylor and Nicole. That's because Taylor and Nicole get along, and honestly, Nicole probably wants a taste of Tay-Tay as well, but Paloma and Alyssa are the ones that kind of went over this alliance. A big part of the alliance is also, I'm still learning their names, so it can take me a while to really learn all their names. Jasmine also a big part of that, doing some spying on Taylor. Once again, this was the first night in the house, and these women are acting this way on night one. Leave it to Big Brother US, where an all-girl alliance forms because it's anti one of the other girls in the house. What a foundation to start this alliance. And if you're jealous of one, just imagine as the game goes on how this alliance is going to go. And this all happened last night, and they didn't sleep very much. And today, some of the girls in the alliance already don't trust each other and are wondering if they're really in this alliance. Gosh, women's alliances, I don't know. How do they not work? But honestly, gee, why would the women be jealous of Taylor?
That might be a great shot for television.
It's pretty bold.
Yo.
Yes. Yes.
Yo.
Yes.
Hey, yo.
Get on the table.
Love it. More.
Yes.
Yes.
So elegant.
Have a little fun. Have some fun, Taylor. Don't fuck this up.
The white ball goes in too.
Yo.
Nice with the touch. Perfect.
Oh, and she set up perfect for the 10. Right here. I don't like the looks of this.
Taylor showing off isn't going to help her case with some of the girls' jealousy over her in this game and in this house. But we'll see what comes with it. She's not the first woman in Big Brother to have all this jealousy about her. I did not expect this to happen within the first 8 to 10 hours of the game, though.
Stay true.
I can ride with the boys.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. We can see that.
You got smart.
Yeah, she clearly gets along with the guys, especially Pooch and Monty. I'm still on my 1 week watch for Pooch. So far, I like him. I think if he stays unproblematic, he's going to be one of my favorite players this season. I could finally maybe root for a fellow Italian. I see people already trying to say he wants Taylor, that Monty wants Taylor. Do these guys want Taylor? Probably. But does she want them? Does she need to get in a showman's? Probably shouldn't. She probably shouldn't. Especially with Monty, because they're going to place those two together anyway. So if she does get in a showman's, this should probably be with somebody like Pooch. Maybe Kyle, but Kyle has this whole Brazilian fetish going on. Kyle loves his Brazilians, and Indy's in this house. One night in, and he's talking about his love for Brazilians. If you go to his TikTok, you'll see he likes to date Brazilians, so maybe those two were placed in this house for that reason. But I think Indy has a boyfriend, so that might not work out for poor Kyle. Now, the anti-girl all-women's alliance isn't the only alliance that possibly formed. We see a lot of Monty and Pooch talking. Kyle's in that scenario. Joe's in that scenario. To maybe form their own kind of pretty boys alliance. I think that is a very strong possibility. We see guys alliances on Big Brother every fucking season. So this would probably be the case again with that. But we'll see how true that really is. But you'll notice, yes, there might have been a girls' alliance on night one, and there might have been some of the guys forming an alliance on night one per usual. But you'll notice I did not mention the HOH's name yet. Daniel is the HOH, and I really like Daniel. His hair aside that I gave him shit for on the cast assessment, but I did say that I liked him. Because he's such a big fan, his confessional was endearing on the first boring episode premiere. And an aside, I don't want to talk shit about the premiere too much. It was very boring. But if we have to have a boring premiere to get night one feeds, I will take it every time. Give us night one feeds for a boring premiere, because what is this show without feeds, honestly? Because the episodes are not edited very well. But I like Daniel, and him not being the HOH and immediately trying to form this gigantic alliance isn't a bad thing. A lot of people seem to think that's the optimal play for Big Brother and that the game is totally figured out if you do that. That only works if you have a bunch of players playing it safe. Now, judging by the cast assessment, unfortunately, I would say the majority do want to play safe, although coming into night one, they're not playing safe. But we saw last season with Frenchie, the first time we had night one feeds other than Big Brother Over the Top, that being that HOH that wants to play way too hard and wild isn't the best thing. I think Daniel holding back to maybe wait and see what's going on is not a bad thing at all. He got some help today with Amira, but before I got there, I do want to say Daniel does have a very good relationship with Nicole, and I feel like he wants to have a good thing with Terrence. They are the three oldest players. That would be the smartest thing to do, is form something. If Daniel were to go and get one of the other old players eliminated on his HOH, he would look like a dummy, and he would have a bad first HOH. So we should not do that whatsoever. I do think an argument could be made. I've seen some things online that Daniel's kind of at the bottom because some of the girls want him out. But I think Mal Brown on Twitter named them best. He called them the Powerless Puff Girls, which I thought was hilarious. Because half of this alliance is that backstage twist, and they can't play veto this week, they can't vote this week, And I assume there's going to be a twist where at least one of them is going to end up on the block. I will say I don't know how much Brittany was in that girls' alliance. She was talking to them when they were talking about the girls' alliance, but she didn't seem as gung-ho as the other 5 of the 6 talking about that. I also think the twist could be that we save one of them and the other 2 are on the block. Would that suck for the player that goes home? Yeah, but if it's Paloma or Alyssa, I don't think I would mind, to be honest. Paloma is showing that she might be more crazy than Frenchie, honestly. Frenchie took a couple days to go crazy as HOH. Paloma's not even HOH. She's at the bottom with no power right now, and she's already trying to think of a billion scenarios. She is giving very much Jose right now to me, because she's not in power, but she thinks she can have all of this power. I don't know. Especially with the twist, this could backfire huge on Paloma and Alyssa. I think more so Paloma, even though I think Alyssa is the far more boring of the 2. She's also very dumb, and she thought Newark was a country. Yes, she thought Newark was a country and got it confused for Denmark. Anyway, back to Daniel and Amira. Amira talked to Daniel today. Very smart of her to try and kind of be the first that we saw on feeds other than maybe Nicole really talk to the HOH about strategy. Amira, even though the girls talked about targeting Taylor, Amira is smart that Daniel needs to get out. A guy...
Like, if it would have been, like, one of them that did it, or 2, but, like, because 4 of them
You're
did it,
so
it was
right.
so, like,
3 strong players in
it was too many, yeah, it was too many good players.
And who knows how much they know the game, too, those other 3.
Yeah, that's another thing we don't
Which
really
we'll learn or whatever.
Yeah.
Monty, Kyle, Joseph, and Michael all volunteered to be have-nots, and Amira tried to put a target on their back as doing that purposefully to all be in the same room, maybe forming some kind of like alliance. She's almost there if you take out Pooch for Michael, but I can see Michael being brought into that all-guys alliance. And, you know, if you're brought into an alliance, you don't turn it down. Because if that all-guys alliance is starting without Daniel, getting one of them out pretty quickly would be probably the best case for him. He has talked about today how Michael could be a pawn to do that. I don't know how smart that would be. I don't know if Michael is the guy he should be getting rid of, although maybe that's just because I like Michael. Michael's kind of socially awkward, though. I think I saw him as well-rounded coming into this game, but he's going to have to really work on his social game. But it's day 1. A lot can still happen. And one other thing I learned from last season's week 1 feeds is that nothing really gets established in week 1. We thought Frenchie was going to have that big alliance, and we saw it completely fall apart on week 2. I really think it is week 2 and maybe even week 3 when the real alliance starts to form and the real relationships start to develop. So week 1's going to be all over the place. So I'm just going to talk about the bigger subjects and the subjects that really come through. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today. I will try to be back again tomorrow.